Okay, so this happened. I don't even know what I'm. Let's start with the basics. So, first of all, let's get things which need to be said. Congratulations, Cuba, on winning this game. Truthfully, you put away your chances, you created more chances, you put shots on frame, and you got the goal. You produced, you got the result. Cuba came in with a strategy, and it's interesting that it worked in the sense that, not that I'm surprised that it worked, but it was just it's a very much interesting aspect to look at this game and see kind of what happened. I didn't watch the game yesterday. I had planned to watch it when it was scheduled at 4 Eastern, and then I had bowling with the other guys of the pod we had planned today, so we weren't going to move bowling. Update on the bowling. Still not a bowler, but still top 7 of the people who were there. So this game, how do I feel about this game? Twitter told me that this was a disappointment of things, and the context of it was really off because you don't see the whole game. It wasn't as bad as Twitter would lead me to believe. In the same breath, it wasn't good. But it was just off. That's how I felt watching this. It just felt off. Like everything was just a little bit off for them. It came in how they were defending. It came in how they were, the sense of urgency on the ball. Everything just felt a little bit off. I think the first half, writing some notes down, Cuba was just clogging the middle, and Canada was trying to go through that. At times they were able to get the ball out on the wing. They were able to get some productivity, but the issue is Cuba was just sitting back. So playing a ball in to the box when you have 1 or 2 players, when Cuba has 4 or 5, it's not going to be as productive. It's definitely an interesting aspect there. So I feel like first half, they were getting the ball out wide, was I think what they need to do, but weren't able to get as much going on into the actual game. When it comes to the goal that they conceded, it's a back pass, and it's a terrible goal to concede, but that just feels like not really being in lock with what's happening. It was a bad back pass that a pressing player was able to pick off, gets around the goalkeeper, slots it. That type of a goal is just, be aware, right? That's all you can really say about something like that. Just be more aware of what's happening. So when it came to that, I was like, okay, fine. Second half, they make changes. And this is where the conversation comes. Is this a situation with Canada where they quote unquote tried to get too cute? Now, when I say try to be too cute, I'll use the women U17s as an example here. Now, granted, different part of the competition, but still. In their game against Honduras in the round of 16, Canada had rotated their squad, and Honduras came out and was really challenging. Now, I've said this before, I feel like Honduras was better than what their record indicated. There's no doubt. In my mind, I felt that way. But with that being the case, they start making changes in the 30th, 50th, and then they're able to get back on the ball, put the game away. With that being the case, is this an example? Because once we got to the second half, then we just got to a bunch of changes. We had 4 changes right off the bat, bringing in Zuhair, bringing in other players. So let's just go over some of those aspects just so that everyone kind of is on that same page for what we're talking about. Canada started off with a starting 11 of Justin Smoot, Ben Alexander, Noah Abenete, Kwesi Poku, Jamie Knight-Lebel, Mateo Capanga, Matthew Catvallo, Gabriel Pellegrino, Mal Henry, Jesse Costa, and Hugo Mbonga. Now, as this game continues on, once you get to the second half, there are substitutions that are made. And maybe just the way that the substitutions went, maybe that's where I think to myself, Did we just try to get cute and we missed it? Points, though this is a top 3, you are kind of trying to play a game where you're trying to avoid certain teams. There's no doubt about that. You're definitely trying to play that game where you're trying to avoid certain teams. And having the US already in that group, you can either have them or not. But Abadne was subbed out, as well as Gabriel Pellegrino, Mal Henry, Jesse Costa, and Hugo Mbonga was later subbed out in the game. When we're looking at the timing of it, with the second half subs, definitely you can feel they all made. That's when I feel like a lot of them really started to go in. Jesse Costa for Loyal, right? Wright was putting shots. They just weren't hitting the target. It's disappointing when you look at that, and it hurts there, but I don't know. I'm not as upset as Twitter would have me believe, which, I mean, sure, that's a good indicator. Twitter shouldn't get you as upset as you think you should be. That being said, they did not do the best with their opportunities. Bringing Kobe Franklin, bringing in Lowell Wright, they brought in Rita Zuhir, and it just felt like they were just off, especially in the final third, right? Decision making there was just off, whether it's Lowell Wright just saying a shot over. I think their best opportunity came in about the 60th minutes, where free kick comes in, ball bounced off, and Kwesi Poku, who I think probably played a very good game. Him and Justin Smith, I felt, had solid games playing from the start years. You can't really blame Ben Atlanta for that, but ball just falls to him, and you just got to put it on frame and just blast it over the net. It could be nerves, there's no doubt about that, but man, opportunities to salvage something from this game were there. They just weren't able to do it. So I'm not going to start here by just ranting on the coach. I have my questions right now, but I mean, that's result based. But I think they were doing smart things. This wasn't just sloppy and Cuba looking better. Possession wise, Canada look better. Passing wise, look better. Now, those stats like that are very subjective stats, where it's like, yeah, you can have all that, but then you didn't get the result. There's no doubt about that. And that can also come into score effects, right? How a team is playing based off how they're going. I still feel like Canada was creating well enough, but they just weren't putting the final third well. I won't even say they were wasteful in the final third. They just weren't even practical in it, I'd say. And you have a day to rest up with that, and then the next game you have the US. And it's not a easy task. You got 10-0 US coming at you. Is it impossible? No, and maybe you start playing how do you try to get on to the next round. You just have to finish top 3, so that's not impossible. But I just feel like they're a little bit off. And maybe that's, again, another conversation of getting the right group together. And that's where, I mean, we can have these conversations where we had one camp and then there's new names in and new names out. Yeah, you're always going to have that option. But did we see all the best combinations of players as we go? Could the U20s have used another camp? I'm not saying this campaign is already just done, but I'm just saying you have players who are coming into a group for the first time. You want to keep them not necessarily together, but at least have some familiarity with them. Because everything in terms of just their movement and their passing just seemed off. And I feel like you'll get that by maybe game 3, which will probably be a game where Canada punishes St. Kitts. But you really need that if you're trying to start the tournament off on the right foot. You need that cohesiveness going through. So I don't know how you guys feel about this. Let me know in the comments below. But a disappointing result, but to me, just off. I'm disappointed in like the result, there's no doubt about it, but it just felt like these players were just a little bit off. And maybe in another game or two, they're able to find the rhythm that they need. Doesn't make their path any easier, but that's kind of how I feel. You guys let me know how you feel in the comments below. We'll take out from there.